Welcome back to the final Monday mashup of the season. Joining me tonight, as always, my co-host Mark, our resident referee from Stockley Park, West Dublin, and also joining us tonight, making his seasonal debut probably this year, but on for his he's going to give us his Premier League 11, worst, best, all this good stuff and all, and we'll go through it the whole lot and all. So join us also Greg from On the Slab Horror Show.
What's
Make
up,
sure you
boys?
check that out on YouTube. Big up, Greg. Thanks for joining us. Marky, how are we?
I'm good. We got Greg on because United season has been a complete horror show, so he can talk us through it.
Listen, it's been a horror show for everyone bar City when you think about it, hasn't it? So let's not
Horror
Not
show.
Villa, not
No,
Villa.
I've seen better. I've seen it's awful. It was awful, lads. That's it. That's all I need to say about it.
And I tell you, it feels like it's going to get worse now. We've lost our manager now. We have the fatter version of your guy coming in. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Let's see
Ten
what
Hag
happens.
2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to everyone in the chat as well who have joined us. They join us every Monday as always, and your commitment does not go unnoticed. Subscribe to the channel as well, folks. The upper tier, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video as well. We will be bringing you plenty of content this week. Tomorrow, we have Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're going to be going through Double or Nothing. We're going to be talking about King and Queen of the Ring as well that's coming up. We'll also be talking about other stuff on that as well, latest pro wrestling news. Thursday I'll be on with Darren. It won't be Thursday Tier Talk. It'll be an FA Cup final preview. And Darren will be giving us his 11 of the season and also his young player, senior player, keeper, manager, whatever it is, worst transfer, whatever it is, flop of the season, the whole lot. We'll go through the whole gamut of stuff, whatever's in there. Join us in the chat, of course. Henry's in there. Big up, Henry, as always. Thanks for joining
Henry.
us on the last Monday mashup. Joanna's in, who's been an absolute stellar in the chat there, both on the Thursday Tier Talk with the predictions and
Is she
today.
Arteta out now, is it?
I don't know. We shall see tonight how the show goes, won't we? Because it's a little bit prickly there as well as with us, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's obviously I feel for Arsenal fans as well because I know how they feel. We've been hunting this guy down for God knows how long and how many seasons at this stage, and it's tough. And I said I spoke to some of the Arsenal fans last night, and I said, look, don't dwell on it. There's no point in thinking about the Villa game. There's no point in thinking about the Fulham game and the West Ham game because there's other games where you scored late winners in injury time and stuff like that. And it all kinds of balances itself out. And sometimes you just have to accept that you just simply weren't good enough. And at the levels that these guys hit, you literally nearly have to go invincible and win your games in order to be in that shake-up right at the dead zone. So tough. I'm always Arteta out, Joanne says. And Daz is in. Big up, Daz. Daz, how's the eyes today? Are the eyes burning from the tears yesterday? It was a tough day yesterday, I have to say. I got very emotional, I did. And
It was a glorious day. Will you stop?
Yeah, but see, that's the difference. The difference for you guys celebrating it, we were celebrating in a different way, because we're going now into... We got pulled up out of the darkness, and now we don't know where we're going to go. We don't know what's going to happen now and all. So,
I'm just happy we got a win.
And a clean sheet.
And a clean sheet. Yeah. Spoiled my bet. Spoiled my... No, I know how you feel. Rod found his big 45 in the balls. Absolutely. Maybe Arteta will go back to City. Yeah, all the talk yesterday as well about... Pep was planning on leaving and all, and everyone was getting really excited and all. But listen, we'll start anyway. First of all, our sponsor on the Monday mashup this season has been Hogan Elite Trophy Hire. Mark, give us a shakedown. This is the latest one, I think, from Athenroy.
Yeah, they were down on Athenroy on Friday and Saturday this weekend, just gone. As you can see, Lee Sharp, Wes Brown, Clayton Blackmore, Brian McClare, Liam Martin, Eric Jemba. So good they named him twice. Chris Eagles, Keith Gillespie, Carol Boborski, and just out of the picture there is Frank Stapleton as well. So it was a massive day down there. They did a golf day on the Friday and the gala day on the Friday night, and then did a match on the Saturday. So Brown was sending me pictures, him and Wes Brown on the bus and different stuff, and they had a late night on Friday night, and then Wes and a few of the other lads were flying back. They were playing a match against Taunton FC or something yesterday in England, so they were flying back. But yeah, everyone had a great day. He was sending me pictures of all the families and all the fans getting photos with the trophies down at the ground and stuff like that. So yeah, no, the next one is the 15th of June down in Longford. That's going to be a cracking day. Mike Phelan's coming over to manage United Legends that day and stuff like that. And I don't know, Stephen Kenny was meant to be managing the Longford Legends, but obviously he's after being taken on by St. Pat, so we'll wait and see what happens there.
That was the picture of happiness, that announcement, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus,
Morris was
almost,
delighted anyway. Morris was delighted.
He was almost as happy as Mo Salah was in the Liverpool jersey announcement.
Yeah.
Did you see him even yesterday when Klopp was up talking?
Moany Hill, isn't he?
God, I don't know what's going on there, And then today on Instagram, bigging him up and thanking him for everything and all. And I was thinking, what happened to if I speak, there'll be fire? No, that all got brushed away, isn't it? Joanne, there's a skip next to my driveway. Could get Arteta and chuck him in there. Good Lord.
Jesus.
Right. Marky, Instagram, Facebook and all that for Hogan Elite Trophy.
Yeah, like I said, confirmations, community season confirmation now this Saturday out in Clonsilla, a few things coming up, weddings and stuff. But yeah, contact Instagram, Facebook, Bebo, and you can just WhatsApp me.
Bebo, MySpace, MSN, Messenger, AOL.
You know it.
All the good ones.
A pigeon carrier, you name it.
All the ones before they became a problem.
Getting him a few pounds, he'll take you.
Absolutely. Let's go. Right, Premier League review. Where do we begin then? I don't know whether it's worth rattling down through the whole lot at this stage, is it? As we always do. But Arsenal obviously struggling at first, but got the job done in the end.
Yeah.
Everton
They were all over Everton in the second half, to be fair to them.
Yeah. I'd imagine with what was unfolding at City.
There was nothing. There was no spark to them.
Yeah, and I'd say Arteta as well. Did you see
the clip of the fans when they thought it went 2-2 in the City game and they're all jumping up and down and all? Oh, brilliant.
I was actually thinking when it went, do you remember when City were 3-1 up and then it went to 3-2 with Souček handballed it in?
Handball,
yeah. It popped up at 3-2 and I was like, oh, could West Ham actually get back? And then that was quickly gone.
Sure, you see in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half, it was just all City. West Ham couldn't even get out of their own half. Like, it was ridiculous.
I actually thought West Ham could have put it up to City a little bit more, being Moyes' last game and stuff, but they were gone dead and buried inside 2 minutes when Foden scored. It was over.
And wasn't that goal very similar to the one he got against us in the Etihad, wasn't it?
He's a cunt, he is.
Yeah, he's just like can you believe at 23 what has he got? 6 titles at 23. Yeah. 6 Premier League titles at fucking 23.
It's madness, isn't it?
It's just
I think
crazy.
It was Dembele. Dembele is probably the only one that has a better record than that. He's won a title that every year he's been a professional.
Yeah.
What was it? It was 16 or something. He came into the burst onto the scene, wasn't it? Like,
and it's probably only in the first 2 seasons he played enough matches to get a medal.
Yeah. Injury after injury.
There. Oh man, the most decorated non-playing player.
He reminds you of Owen and your man Alou Diore or Diaby that used to play for Arsenal.
And he has a small one. Brown's in, big up Brown. Well, lads, Foden is unbelievable.
Story,
he is unbelievable.
He's
an unbelievably big wanker, is what he is.
Yeah, so for all you people in the chat tonight as well, if you want to get in, we're picking our 11 for the Premier League season. We're going to compare them and talk about and stuff like that. But we're also picking our young player of the year, our senior player of the year. We're going to go for worst transfer, flop of the season, and manager of the year. So all those. So if you want to drop them into the chat, anything you want to talk about on them as well, and we'll compare them with our choices, as they say. Brentford 2, Newcastle 4.
It was an entertaining game.
It was a great game, I have to say. Yeah, Newcastle kind of. It's like they found themselves again, didn't they? After a slightly poor run, they had bounced back and stuff like that and started scoring goals for fun. And I suppose it coincided as well with them getting a lot of players back. They had a woeful injury run there for a while.
Six back on Sunday, wasn't there? 6 or 7 they got back.
I kind of fear for Brentford next season. I think they're going to lose a few players during the summer, and obviously there's doubt over Thomas Frank there as well. You know, they could struggle next season. And
Tony will be the big one. He's out the door.
Well,
Who, Tommy Frank?
Funny you say that they were brilliant until he returned. Since he's come back, they've
Tony.
gone, and not because of him necessarily, but the Brentford form has dipped greatly since Tony has returned from the betting ban and stuff like that.
It's like one of those, him and Thomas Frank. It doesn't seem get along that much, and it's causing tension in the dressing room. And it's players are probably siding with the manager over Tony, knowing that he's going to be out the door in the summer anyway.
You're looking at it. The man's playing centre forward. He was left back in one of the games I was watching, trying to get on the ball and stuff. Like, you're not going to create something from there, pal.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit more to get yourself in position.
Yeah,
no, 100%. Sure, he was left out a good few times as well, wasn't he? Since he's been back and stuff like that.
Last 6 games or something, was it?
Yeah.
He's coming off the bench and stuff. So
absolutely.
They know he's out the door anyway. Wisa was brilliant for them this year.
Yeah, he's also the thing I find with him as well, which is kind of interesting. He likes pimping himself out on social media as well, doesn't he? Which is kind of, he's putting himself out in that shop window on his own socials and stuff like that, which doesn't go down well, I'd imagine, with someone like Thomas Frank. But I don't know. I wonder, has Thomas Frank taken Brentford as far as he can, and maybe it is time to change as well. Maybe a fresh face needs to go in there.
I was surprised you didn't go for him, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a huge step up, wouldn't it?
I mean,
not that what we're doing isn't a huge step up, but I mean, at least he won a Dutch league and a Dutch cup double this season.
No, but you know what I mean? Though, what's the next step for him? Like, he got Brentford 8th or 9th last year. You know what I mean? What's next for him, really? Going
maybe
to
obviously Lopetegui's going into West Ham, but maybe a West Ham or something like that.
That move didn't make any sense at all for me. He struggled. All right, the Wolves team were bad at the time, but he really struggled there.
I think he got upset over the owners, the move to sell players and stuff like that, and obviously not back him as well. I think it got pretty fractured over that as well. I think he'll get a bit more support and he'll have money to spend, because obviously with West Ham, there's talk of Kudus going out of the building, and obviously Paqueta as well. So they'll generate a lot of cash as well that should be made available to the new manager.
I mean, you're probably talking about 150 for the two of them alone.
Possibly, yeah, pretty close to it anyway, I'd say, especially when you know who's interested in them as well. I mean, City's obviously interested in taking Paqueta, so they're going to pay wage.
God knows they make their financials quite legally.
Well, they have been, funny enough, probably the last 2 seasons or so, apparently, you know what I mean? Because they have been. Like, it's funny enough, actually, I was looking at a thing today, their net spend over the last 3 seasons is ridiculous. Because they've generated so much from the academy and stuff like that. Like, you all remember at the start of the season when we were going, Cole Palmer, 40 million, what the hell? How wrong we were.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But even you look at, wasn't it your man that went to Barcelona, Garcia, he went for 20 or 32 years ago.
Yeah.
There's been loads of them that have got out the door for big money.
Yeah, they generate really, they do really, really good business in that area. And I suppose it's a case of having to as well, because if they don't, then the eye really goes on it, because that's what's been happening when you go back those previous years and stuff like that when they hadn't been doing it. Your own team boys winning 2-0. Hoyland and Dallow.
Robbed them blind. We should have been 4-0 down at half time.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Onana made a couple of really good saves.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Casemiro off the line. Martinez off the line. Robbed them blind. Took the 2 goals well, mind you.
That's what the boys are there for, isn't it? That's what hasn't been happening all season.
To be fair to the Dallow goal, that ball was on all day. They unlocked them about 7 or 8 times, but no one took their chance.
Great ball over the top. But no, it was good. Listen, get the win, like I said, clean sheet, get minutes coming back, lads, getting back before the final, and you were just hoping there be no more injuries and stuff like that. So everyone seemed all right leaving the pitch yesterday. So please God, will there be some changes then on Saturday afternoon. And obviously we've seen pictures of Man City stars leaving the nightclubs at 5 a.m. this morning, so hopefully they might be still a tad hungover. They'll still wallop us even if they're hungover, but still we can always hope.
And I mean, that was also said last year that City were going to walk through the FA Cup, and they were quite lucky in that game. They dominated possession, but we had the better chances.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the goal disallowed at the end as well. So it'd be different to see. Like everyone's saying, City will wallop them. Yeah, probably, but I'd expect it. I personally think it'd be a bit closer than.
Oh no, I think it'll be tight. All right, I think it will be tight. Especially like obviously the way we got through to the final with Coventry by the skin of our teeth. Like we needed to kick up the arse after that, and I think he's kind of slowly got a little bit of that back. So
the change in formation has helped as well. Having McTominay and Bruno up front, starting to press quickly.
Yeah, you seen him against Newcastle. McTominay was unbelievable pressing them last Wednesday night and stuff. And I had said about Casemiro at the back, I would have put McTominay there. But when you see McTominay, the way he was playing, he done really, really well. And that's what you need against a Man City team.
Well, what's going to happen, I'd say, Saturday is Casemiro is going to be back in the defence and Varane and Martinez be the two centre-backs. And he will be told, do not move maybe 10 yards outside that box. You stay there because you can't run, you fat cunt.
They'll have those hooks on the shorts with those elastic yokes that only go about 10 yards and then pull you back in and stuff and all. Yeah, absolutely. I tell you one thing, lads, I'm well jealous that you have a final on Saturday. I love going to Wembley and stuff like that. And I tell you, that felt weird for me yesterday as well, that we actually ended our season on the last day of the Premier League, because we've generally had a final to look forward to after that in whatever guise it was. So yesterday felt doubly weird as well, that the fact that the last game of the season at home and it was the last game of the season felt really, really weird as well.
I suppose it was fitting for Klopp as well. Obviously, I don't like Liverpool, I hate Liverpool and whatnot, but it was fitting for him to finish at home.
Yeah.
Not that it means too much anyway, but at least he got the fans at home one more time.
He did, yeah, and of course there's been a lot of build up to this, and it's been tough over. I mean, since the announcement, and since things have kind of gone skew ways, it's been tough, and so many videos coming out, so many moments, so many goals, so many reactions, so much media stuff, and it's just bombarded us, and I can see why it became very heavy and affected the players, because it affected us really as fans as well. I got to a stage where every time I went on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is, there was another video it was affecting me to the point where I just gave up. I just had to stop watching them because it was just becoming too much. And I'm sure people contacted me over the last couple of days. They heard it in my preview and stuff like that. I just about held it together and all. And the same yesterday. I was visibly fairly upset about it yesterday, as you do, because it's just the big sap of me. And Ben came home and Ben was saying to me, but why were you getting so upset? And I was going, well, it took 30 years to win a league. I don't know if I have another 30 years in me to wait for another one. It's all right for you, Ben. You're 21, so you probably have another 60, 70 years in you. I probably have 30 at best. So, I'm on that fringe of, if it goes that length again, this is what can happen, So you just never know, So, but it's it was definitely emotional yesterday. It felt weird as well, and it was kind of like a send off for Thiago as well. What a player he could have been if he had stayed injury free. But obviously, when he did play, he was unbelievable, Thiago.
He's an absolute baller.
Yeah, and absolute. And Joel Matip as well. What a servant Joel Matip was for the club as well. And again, only in recent years he's found to be able to, stay injury free. They figured these guys out, and then of course doing his ACL this season was very, very tough because obviously he missed. That's it. He bailed out with the injury and stuff like that, which was tough to take as well. And then to see all the coaches going as well, Pep Linders and to see, and he's getting the job obviously at Salzburg, and good luck to him. And obviously John Achterberg, who's been the goalkeeping coach for 15 years there, he's gone off to work with Stevie at Al Ettifaq. So good luck to him as well.
About 60 million quid a week as well.
Hey, I'll get that bag if you've been working for 15 years at Liverpool, and it's only in the last 6 or 7 years that it's really been what I would call enjoyable and rewarding. Maybe go get that bag if it's on offer. Who am I to deny him? But yeah, it was good to see, and a lot of other coaches going as well. So it was really was a changing of the guard yesterday.
It's a complete rebuild now though for Liverpool's managerial structure. I know they're rebuilding the back room as well. Yeah. Obviously bringing Ting back, the two lads, Phillips or Edwards and Ting back. So it'd be interesting. I can see you as having a slide this year. Because obviously they won't have that high intensity the way they did under Klopp. Like them players would have ran through a brick wall for him.
Yeah, I think what's hinging on it really is it's what's going to happen over the summer if the rumours are there, like, Van Dijk hasn't signed a new contract, but actually hasn't been offered a new contract yet, so I don't know what that means. Trent's contract is up in a year as well. Real Madrid are sniffing around. They also want McAllister, so we don't know will their heads be turned.
60 million quid or something, a secret buyout clause. Is that what I read?
Apparently that's the case, but I'm not too sure. I didn't look into it enough, and if I lost him for 60, I'd be sick.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure it came from the Sun that I read it, so I wouldn't believe that.
So it must be legit. Right. Yeah, it must be legit. Yeah. And then there's talk of Nunes being wanted at Barcelona to replace Lewandowski. Now, why you would replace Robert Lewandowski with Darwin Nunes?
He's about 400 years old now, don't he?
Yeah, but I think I'd nearly take him at 400 years old because at least he can finish.
That's true. That's true.
That's the main thing. Chelsea winning 2-1 against Bournemouth. What a goal by Caicedo.
Absolutely, it was a smasher, wasn't it?
Yeah, cracking goal. And
I did say that the keeper was in no man's land, though.
Yeah, I meant to, before we get on to the Chelsea game, I meant to ask you, lads, I know we skipped Burnley and Nottingham Forest because it doesn't really mean that at this stage. No offence to any Burnley or Nottingham Forest fans tuning in, but it was really a nonsense. The Serbi, seen his interview there, and he was talking about how last week it was all good. He was planning for next season, and within 48 hours of the season ending, he was informed that he was going. What do you make of that whole De Zerbi situation?
I think that some big club has come in and said, listen, we're going to have a look at him. His contract is up, next year, but will you release him, we'll loan you players or something.
Compensation. It seems to be the new thing for managers, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because if you look at it, Brighton have quite a good relationship with Barca. And if he goes to Barca, say, on a free, and you take 6 or 7 of their top academy players to play on loan, you know what I mean? Is that worth better than the couple of million compensation you're going to get?
Yeah. Although I think Xavi confirmed he's staying, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying.
I know, for an example. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know Tony Bloom does like that money, though. He does like that money.
Do you reckon he'll get Potter back?
So what? It wouldn't be out of the rounds, that would it?
No, okay, he's not. Yeah. He hasn't been doing, like, I was kind of thinking if Thomas Franco would Potter go to Brentford, and then obviously Disney goes like 48 or 24 hours before the last game of the season, and you seen his interview, he thought he was going to be there for the pre-season and then into the new season and stuff. So obviously shit's gone down behind the scenes, and yeah, the money sign. But in fairness, I seen an interview with him today. He says he doesn't have another job lined up, so I don't know what the story is.
He sure does now. Plenty of money is. Plenty of money as he's rolling in it. And that's, Greg, why he wouldn't want loanees, because he can't moneyball them. He has to either give them back then.
He also then doesn't have to pay transfer fees, right? And if he keeps them in the Premier League, then you're talking more money for nothing, really.
Yeah, maybe. I can't imagine the likes of a Barcelona giving away their loanee crown jewels that cheap, to be honest. Especially to Brighton. But we shall see.
They get Fatty, didn't they?
Yeah, but that was kind of that was a weird one at the time as well. I think we all thought that was a very strange one.
It just came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah. Like, and you know, it was such an underwhelming announcement as well. I suppose because he was down there and not in one of the bigger clubs or something like that. Because I think the season before he came in, he was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was in the Champions League team of the year and everything, or second team of the year, whatever.
Yeah, lads. Crystal Palace 5, Aston Villa 0. What can we say about Glasner?
He's just electric, isn't he?
It's incredible.
Brilliant. Like, obviously, you can say that Villa were still celebrating. Obviously, Tuesday night did the Play of the Year awards when the City game was on, and they knew to qualify for the Champions League, so they would have been on the Raz. And obviously, Emery had said it as well. You know,
there was some videos from that. Did you see them?
You know? Yeah.
So, imagine Jack Grealish was still at Villa. He'd be still on the sauce.
He'd be over with Wayne Lineker. He wouldn't have beat it. But listen, Palace still had a job to do, and to go out and get 5 goals the way they did, it was unbelievable. Eze had a great game. Mateta again. Elise was involved in a few of them and stuff like that. So yeah, great.
Those 3 for Palace are going to bring them in a fair few pound.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I would be surprised if all 3 of them are there next season.
How far can they go with it, though? You know, with Glasner in there now as well, he seems to be trying to build something special as well. Like, are you going to lose all 4 of those boys nearly then? And it's just, it'd be a hell of a lot of money, but like, I mean, trying to replace those 4 boys. But I'd be very happy now to see Mateta in a Liverpool jersey next season if we could.
But
that's for sure.
If I asked you that question 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago, you'd have laughed at me.
If you had have asked me prior to the Crystal Palace game at Liverpool, because I actually seen what he was like even off the ball, and the stuff you guys don't see on telly off the ball, he is a fucking pest.
He just keeps going, doesn't he?
He went over and he was pinching Kanate in the back. He was pulling the back of his jersey, and the ball was up the other end. It wasn't even near them. And Kanate literally walked off at one point. He had enough of him. So then he goes, that's all right. I've dealt with him now. His brain is gone. And he went over and started doing the exact same thing to Van Dijk then. And he tore him asunder too as well. Pinching him in the back, pulling the jersey in the back. And the ball is down the very far corner, nowhere near them. He was a pest all match. And I said, you know that? I like that guy. That's a proper
centre forward.
There's a lot to like about that guy, I tell you.
That was the game Dazzler brought you over to, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just don't want to talk about it, really, to be honest. Elise Eze Mateta could be all gone. Yeah, imagine if they lost them.
And Mitchell as well.
Let's not even start talking about using Wharton in midfield. My God, what a partnership he's unlocked.
I only spoke to him. I only spoke about him 2 weeks ago. What a signing for Blackburn he was. He's been unbelievable in midfield for them, you know.
They ran the show at Anfield. And
against us.
Yeah.
The 2 boys look like fucking prime Zidane and Ronaldinho running the midfield.
Yeah,
no, but he is. He's in. It's always tough. You just see them playing the Championship and they're running games and they're doing well, and it's whether they can take that next step into the Premier League. And obviously, he's done that now, and he has a great squad of players around him and stuff like that. And the new managers come in and just breathe a new lease of life into the club. So there will listen. I can't see Wharton going during the summer, but there will be a lot of clubs linked with him.
Under Hodgson, it went a bit stale, didn't it? It was just flat.
Yeah.
I think his
tactics probably shackled the boys, didn't it, a bit as well?
Yeah.
A lot of really good footballers at Crystal Palace.
As soon as they went, Elise and Eze really stepped up again.
Having said that, Elise's return from injury coincided with Glasner coming in as well, which obviously would have helped a lot as well, because obviously he was the guy there pulling the strings earlier in the season before getting injured and stuff like that. So he's obviously huge for them and stuff like that, and heavily linked with yourselves, boys, isn't he? You take him in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? Absolutely.
I'd give anything to get the 2 of them over. To be honest, you can take whatever players you want, bar Mainu, Hoyland, and Garnacho. You can have the rest of the team if you want them.
Liverpool 2 lads, Wolves 0. Kwanzaa getting the goal along with McAllister. Delighted to see Kwanzaa get the goal. I've been a big fan of his all season. I think he's had a real breakout season this year and all.
His header last week was phenomenal, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch it while we were on here last week, and the leap he took, great ball in by Harvey Elliott, but the leap he took,
it was Ronaldo-esque, wasn't it?
I think that yesterday's game, once the sending off happened, that really paved way to it. And not only that, the narrative was that the game didn't really matter, except that we wanted to win, and probably for Alisson keeping a clean sheet heading off to the Copa America as well was probably good for him as well. But it was really about Klopp's send off, really more so than the match was.
Sure, and in fairness, the sending off was a sending off. Gary O'Neill tried to say it wasn't.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Over the ball, such showing like he 100%. Wasn't in control of the tackle or anything like that. But look, I texted you yesterday because I said it. Listen, even as a United fan, I'm a football fan. The league will miss him. There's no you need characters like Klopp in the Premier League. It's like back in the day when Mourinho came in, and we probably all hate him, but you look back and think you need someone like that in the league. Ange came in from Scotland now, and he's a bit of a character and stuff like that.
The brand of the Premier League was built on characters, wasn't it? Like even the Fergie Wenger era, and Kevin Keegan and all these guys who Harry Redknapp, all these guys who wore their heart on their sleeve and were real.
Harry Redknapp, the greatest wheeler dealer you'll ever see.
Absolutely. But this isn't this what the foundation of the Premier League and how the brand grew so much and stuff like that was all these different characters in there, not to mention the players even and stuff like that and all. But he'll definitely be missed, and like you can tell the effect he had on the league as well, because I got rang at 3:00 in the morning in Florida to be told about the announcement, so that will tell you all you need to know really. Dazzler rang me at 3 in the morning in Florida. And and I was asleep in bed, and he goes, "Turn on your phone." He says, "Get on Sky Sports. Your gaffer's eggs in the building." And I went in onto the jack, sat down, I was watching, and I couldn't believe it. And he was rejoicing in it, of course, as most fans do. But it goes to show you this is what he brought and stuff like that. And the fear, obviously, going forward is like if we have a drop off, and you guys maybe take a bit of time to fix yourselves up with Ineos in there now, and obviously Arteta's going to have to try and rally the troops, build again, and go again. And let's see what Emery can do with Villa. Like City might get a free pass for the next couple of seasons, the way these drop-offs happen and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens.
They might win League Two.
I just don't see it happening.
I can see, as I said, do you remember I sent it into the group chat saying that they're entering into a plea deal? Couple of £100 million fine, and the FA will go, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll never know the extent of it. We'll never know the extent of it. We'll never truly understand even the penalty for it, the actual penalty for it, and stuff like that.
It'll be paid by another fucking offshore company.
The only thing I was encouraged, I heard a quote there from Slot today when they made the announcement and confirmed it was. He said that he wants to win the Premier League. He wasn't talking about this top four nonsense or anything like that, and that's good to hear that from the outset. That's the focus. Baz is in. Big up, Baz. Thanks for joining us, Henry. So if that's if that's Ali, Salah, Trent, Robbo, Nunes, Jones, maybe. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Sorry, lads, I just checked. Shells have gone 2-1 up in the 96th minute, playing in the 98th minute now. So went 1-1 there, and now Shells are 2-1 up.
Yeah. We'll round it out, lads, with Man City obviously winning 3-1 against West Ham. Obviously Foden after 2 minutes, then at 18 scores again, and then probably fitting, I suppose, that Rodri gets the goal as well, isn't it? Like
unsung hero.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'd be very surprised when we pull up our 11s if he's not probably in all three of them. I would be shocked because for me, and we spoke about it even 2 years ago, myself and Darren were perplexed that Haaland was up for the Ballon d'Or and not Rodri, to be honest, and stuff like that. And
City players never won the Ballon d'Or. Huh?
I got asked that today in work by a Man City fan. He's like, if you could take anyone off City, who would you take? And he was I'd say he was fully expecting me to go Foden or Haaland. Straight up, Rodri, all day, every day. 100%. And he's like, really? Out of all the players, that's who you take? And I was like, yeah. I says, without Rodri, you look bang average. He just makes everything happen.
What do you think, guys, in your opinion? Like, what do you think? Like, this is 4 in a row now, never been done. I know there's these charges hanging over them and stuff like that, but it's undeniable what happens on the pitch and the mental attitude. And I don't know, Darren was saying, I started watching the documentary about the treble season, and just to hear Rodri and guys like that and the mentality, and like when they go into the locker room, if it hasn't gone right, the way Rodri spoke to the group about it being unacceptable and kicking whiteboards around the place and all and stuff like that. And, you listen to Pep when they go in 2-0 up and all, he's having a go off them. And when they're 2-0 down, he's putting an arm around them and encouraging them to come back and all. And it's his management style is weird. I'd encourage you to watch it because it would form a very different opinion. I know we have all the other stuff going on that needs to be sorted out, and that will always hang over the achievement and stuff like that, but absolutely incredible. 4 in a row.
Let's be fair, we all have the banter about City being cheats, this, that, and the other, right? You can sign as many players you want and cook the books whatever way they want to, but the players still have to go out and win on the pitch. And I said I said it the other day. I says Real Madrid, when they had the Galacticos, I think they only won the league once. Do you know what I mean? You can go out and spend all the money in the world and have the best players, but if you haven't got a manager that gets them going, there's no fucking point.
And if you think about the standouts this year as well, like you think about City's league campaign this year, like it was probably one of their worst ones. Like they finished up with 91 points. Yeah. That's a very low return for a Man City side in the Premier League when you think about it. And if you look at some of the standout players as well, it wasn't necessarily the big money players like Grealish or Haaland or whatever it was. You had the likes of Foden in there. You had a Kanji, who I think he was 5th choice centre back. I think was it Dortmund at the time or wherever he was, and they brought him in. And I think they only paid a snip for him. Outstanding. You had Ake in there. They were missing De Bruyne for huge amounts. Haaland had gone missing. They were relying on Alvarez and all. It was a weird season, and yet still they find a way. still find a way no matter what. And you know something, if you started at the start of this season and you said City are going to get 91 points, I think Arsenal and Liverpool will turn around and go, that's okay. We feel we can challenge that. You know, and it's just, it's mad, isn't it? It's just crazy when you think about it.
And you look at, obviously, Ederson, I think he got injured a few times and did great replacement there on the bench. And Doku started off well during the season. Obviously, he kind of dipped a little bit, but, you know.
And he took him out of the team. Remember, took him out of the team and then brought him back in.
Remember his game against West Ham, at West Ham? He was unplayable, man. Unplayable, like.
And when you think about some of his signings as well, like he brought in Nunez last minute for big money, about 50 million, didn't really work out and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, he brought in Calvin Phillips for about 50 million as well, didn't work out either. Sent him off to West Ham. You know, so like he doesn't always hit his straps, but then you've the like a Kovacic coming in and stuff like that, who's done a stellar job for him this season as well. He's
phenomenal.
You know, and then you have the emergence of the likes of Oscar Bob and stuff like that, who have been really, really good. So I think it's very hard to throw shade. Like, I just love all this 115 crap to be sorted out, because then we can either move on, give them props, whatever it is we have to do, because it's just hanging over there and stuff like that. And it seems it wouldn't matter what they do until this is all sorted out. You can't really. I know City fans will truly celebrate it and enjoy it and all. But really, for us, you know, no. But if you look at them for a team and stuff like that, and you see what they've done and what they've achieved, and how many times he has changed it and got rid of players and brought players in at key moments, and really important players. Like, if you think about it, Mahrez went, Gundogan went, massive players for them. Cancelo, when he kind of fell out with him, ended up going as well and stuff like that. These are big players for Man City that would walk into any of our teams. And he was able to get rid of them and find that blend again. And, you know, the emergence of John Stones, I know he picked up injuries during the season as well, but he was phenomenal when he played as well. And the way he inverted them and educated them that way as well, he was phenomenal when he was playing. Bernardo Silva, for a guy who wanted to leave last summer, wow, what a season Bernardo Silva.
You haven't mentioned their most important player, lads, Scott Carson.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one other player I would mention, people don't really like him off the pitch, but Kyle Walker, like at his age,
Kyle Walker's best right back the league scene. He's phenomenal.
Unbelievable, man. The pace on him, and you know, he has such a football brain and stuff. And like I said, he takes a lot of stick after what happened off the pitch and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And deservedly so.
Yeah. I know Maupay had a bit of a thing there in one of the games and stuff like that. But I think he's been excellent this season.
The funny thing about it, you mentioned him, Greg, and you know, he's probably the fittest player at Man City as well. When you think about it, Kyle Walker, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah, that's all the props we're going to give them, because I can't do any more than that. It's just
they're cheating bastards.
It's too much. It's too much. We covered this. I don't need to pop a slide on this, but thanks, Gaffer, for everything and all the rest of it, and all the coaches and stuff like that. There's no more I can really add or say to it. Lads, Ian Wright's last match of the day. How did you feel about it? Wasn't it?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, did you not?
Craig, he was in tears. They handed him a cap and all.
They gave him a
cap for it. Yeah.
I didn't know it was his last one.
He announced it a while ago, didn't he, Mark?
He did about 2 or 3 months ago. I think he announced it. Like, and that one with the purple shirt, he was still playing with Arsenal, and that was the first time he went on as a pundit while he was still playing and stuff like that. I love.
Remember what he said, Marky, about it? His first appearance on Match of the Day, I think with Des Lynam it was, and he turned around and he said, "This is my Graceland."
Yeah.
Classic.
And they were talking about Shearer and stuff like that then as well. And
and the montage, actually, Greg, you'll get it on YouTube. The montage of his goals and all and everything, and even the goals where he was reacting to them in the studio and all.
Yes,
it was a brilliant.
I have it recorded there anyway, so I'm gonna go and watch it.
I just watch it, Greg.
He was in tears, man. He was in tears. He was devastated. So.
He's a very emotional character anyway, isn't he? Like, you ever see him? Like,
even remember the one where he met the skill teacher?
Yeah, he thought he was dead.
That one was right in the feelers, wasn't it? Someone told me you were dead.
Yeah.
But I love him on the overlap and stuff like that. Him and Kano, and I just think he's great. Did you ever during the lockdown? Did you watch a podcast with him, Shearer and Gary Lineker and stuff like that? And they're doing the top tens of everything.
Yeah.
Great.
Do you know the funny thing about it? I'm not a huge fan of Lineker, and I'm not a huge fan of Shearer.
Shearer's grown on me over the years, actually.
I just there's something I don't like about him. I don't know what it is. Maybe I always find he's just a smarmy fucker or something, that kind of way, and I just need to date him. So I always tuned in for Roydie because Roydie was great. Yeah. I used to love when Roydie was on with Keown. That was always good. That was good cracking on the combination.
I think him and Shearer were good. When I turn it on and you see Danny Murphy and Dion Dublin, that's when you know it's going to be a bad night.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Shearer there and stuff like that, but I don't know. Roydie, I'd love to go out and have a beer with and go on night in the town. Shearer, I could take it or leave it. Really, I can't imagine it being a good one. Lads, I have a good one here for you before we get into our teams then and our picks and stuff like that. 25 years ago today, there was an FA Cup final. Man United were in it and they lost 2-1.
Paul Loydale. Harchester.
Harchester United. 25 years ago today, Harchester United beat Man United in the FA Cup.
Carl Fletcher.
3-headed goals, lads. 3-headed goals. Who scored? Luis Amor Rodriguez got 2 headers to win it. Who scored for Man United?
Is that Stephen Kenny managing Harchester there?
No, it's Stephen Kenny's Sue.
Looks like David Moyes.
Lads, how nice were the Harchester jerseys back in the day?
Oh, yeah. It was a great old show, wasn't it?
How nice was Linda Block back in the day?
Linda Block, Jesus, yeah.
She went on to be in loads of shows as well, she did.
She's in
do you guys remember? You guys are old enough to remember this stuff, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
And do you remember who scored the goal for United in the cup final?
Was it Beckham, no?
No, it was a header. 3 headers in the cup final, actually.
3 headers.
Was it Sheringham, was it?
No, it wasn't a forward, it was a defender.
Steve Bruce?
No.
Pallister.
Oh, wait, sorry, 25 years gone way back here.
Yeah, you're going way too far back.
Yapstam?
No, it was Ronnie Johnson.
What a man.
Ronnie Johnson scored the header for United in the cup final, of course.
Is that when your man got shot when he was going around with the FA Cup?
Yeah, the first shot hit Linda Block, grazed her head, remember? And then the second shot, your man Jerry jumped in front of him and it hit Jerry. And then it all kind of faded out, remember? And we had to wait till the new season. It was crazy.
If you don't know, if you never watched anything, go back and watch it. It's unreal.
Wasn't it this season or the next season when Carl Fletcher gets done for doing coke and you see him cycling with the black bags on him and everything, trying to get it out?
Didn't he go over to Mallorca or something? Didn't he sign for Mallorca and then he came back or something like that? Yeah. But do you remember the other program, Footballers' Wives?
No.
Yeah.
That was like the more filthier version of Dream Team.
No, it was all about Mile High, lads.
Let's catch up on some of the comments here first. Ted is in. Big up, Ted. That's a lie, Greg. There's no Man City fans. I don't know, lads, if you've seen that video going around. Did you see when they were going around celebrating in the stadium? And there was fucking no one there.
Did you see it when they tried to storm the pitch before it ended? And they must have had about 30 people in the corner and they were just like, get back, as if they're going to run on.
There was more stewards.
The lads were standing on the pitch celebrating the music, and there's no fans there, and you're looking at going, this is mad.
You want the last day to be maybe like Southampton and West Brom in the playoffs, don't you? And they come over and they just get a right smack or something like that. Daz reckons Kwanzaa for Young Player of the Year. Just a little bit clouded there, Daz. I like Kwanzaa. I love him. He's my guy. Young Player has to be Palmer. Great shout, Ted. I agree, Daz. Lads, come on now. Don't wear the Liverpool hat. This is the whole season. Daz and Henry, you better be talking only Liverpool if you're saying Kwanzaa for Young Player.
I think Ted's the only one talking a bit of sense there.
Yes, poker, 100%. 115 is only, absolutely. But look, I got to go and do my schedule for tomorrow. Best of luck, Henry. Talk to you soon, my friend. Righty going will be a huge loss to match of the day, absolutely. Have they said Mark Hughes replacing him or anything like that? Or?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Watch as Mickey Richards comes in.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot lately as well, but it's not the
Has he
same as right into it.
time? Is he time?
Well, in fairness, the podcast program I was telling you about, they still do the top tens and stuff like that, and it's Mika instead of Righty doing it with Shearer and Lineker now.
Mika Richards must be pulling in some wedge. He's on every single football
yeah.
show and every single football podcast.
Did you ever hear his story about turning down the 150 grand a week at City to go to Villa?
Yes. Yeah.
Quality.
Here, Rowan, would you cop on? What I suppose he's only 20 odd. Who's Harchester?
You should look it up, Rowan. It was a great show. I actually think I have one of the jerseys. I ordered one of the jerseys off the Sky store. And I think I have it up in the Yeah, I have it up in them. I have it up there somewhere.
Was it at Millwall Stadium, the den that they used?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The shots and stuff.
Yeah, and they did it brilliantly. It was done really, really well for the timing as well. Evening, long time no see. Hope you were all right, and you, Jack. Good man. That's Murphy. Murphy is a good commentator. It's going to be bloody Dion Dublin.
Is that talking about the snooker there, Sean Murphy, or who's he talking
about? Danny Murphy.
Murphy's Irish stout. Big up, you'll never walk alone. Absolutely. Right, who wants to kick it off? Kick it off with your 11
guests. Go on, Greg.
What are we going with? Team of the year?
Yeah.
Give us your team of the year then, and we'll see.
Don't be naming the Bray Wanderers 11 now. Come on.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you one of the Bray Wanderers team. I went with Raya here as a goalkeeper.
Good shout. I matched that. Marky?
Yeah. I've gone totally off the spectrum here. It's keeper I don't even really like too much, but I just think over the course of the season he's gotten 13 clean sheets. The last 10 games he's been unbelievable. He's pulled off some amazing saves, kept everything in games. So I'm going for Jordan Pickford.
It was between him and Raya.
Yeah.
I think the Arsenal pushed it close the whole way.
Yeah.
I think it made a big difference.
Here, Ted, if you're in this, we talked about this before. Larry Murphy installed Rowan's front door in his house back in the day. So there's a little interesting fact. But no, yeah, Greg, listen.
Did you do the bonus back door as well, or what's the story?
You never know. Obviously, Alisson had been injured during the season. Ederson is an obvious choice as well. Martinez had a good season and stuff like that. But just for me,
he missed a lot of time as well.
Yeah, and you look at Pickford, he's kept Everton in games and in the league and stuff. And like I said, 13 clean sheets in the season for Everton has been unbelievable.
But is that also a little bit not surprising with Sean Dyche being the manager?
No, listen, he still has to pull off those saves. Even with the system they play, it's more defensive. But obviously they're gonna leak a good few goals as well. But I just think some of the saves, and I'm not as big a fan, so I just said I put him in there anyway.
I think most times Everton lost games as well. He was practically their man of the match every time as well. Like, because even when they lost games, maybe 3 or 4-0, it could have been 6 or 7 or 8. Like,
there wasn't many of those either. To be fair, was it 7 or 8 games they lost by one goal?
One goal, like 2-1 and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you let us know your formations as well, lads. I went for a straight up 4-4-2. I didn't try and crowbar favourites in or anything like that. And for the record, I don't have one Liverpool player in it, not one.
Well, I don't have a United player.
I went 4-3-3. I have 5 United players. Just in the other team.
You're getting yeah, okay.
I was gonna say that. I was just going 3 at the back, 4 midfield, 3 up top, just so good fit.
Look at this fucking fancy boy here.
It just fit the extra midfielder in that I wanted. There's no point having an extra defender there that I'm just picking out. But anyway, Greg, you hit this with your defenders there.
I went with Walker. It was between him and Porro. I think Porro was fantastic this year, but Walker's just ever present. I went with the best 2 centre backs in the league. I went with Gabriel and Saliba. And Ndagi on the left.
Okay, not too bad. Mark, do you want to give us your defence?
Yeah, I just have the 3. I have Porro, as Greg mentioned there as well. I have Saliba, and I have Gabriel.
Nice.
Yeah, I went 4 at the back, so I had Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and I went for the boy Robinson off Fulham.
He was brilliant, Antoine Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ben White's a shout as well because he's had an excellent season.
Yeah,
I know he
absolutely.
gets a lot of slagging about his tan and this, that, and the other, but his
it was
goals. Remember that goal he scored there recently?
Yeah, he chipped in with a few important goals
Yeah,
this season,
and
actually,
assists
from
as
that
well.
position.
You know,
Yeah,
from that right hand
absolutely.
side and stuff. So, yeah, great show.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to go turn the light on. It got dark.
Oh
No
yes.
bother. Right, Greg, give us your 3 in midfield.
Rodri, we named already.
Yeah.
Palmer and Odegaard.
Interesting. Marky?
I've gone for 4. Odegaard
right.
was close to getting in, but his Arsenal teammates in there ahead of him. I've gone for Rice.
Yeah.
I've gone for Rodri. I've gone
Yeah.
for Palmer, and
Yeah.
I've gone for Foden.
Nice.
I'm the exact same.
Eh?
Exact same. Exact
Nice.
same.
I was close between Rice and Odegaard.
And I'm the same.
I was going to say I don't think there's a right or wrong between them two. I think two of them have it. I just chose Rice, but
I think
Odegaard
when they
could have
moved
easily been
Rice,
in there.
when they moved Rice further forward and gave him that little bit freer of a role at the back end of the season, he really came into his own, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'd say Arsenal fans would have wished there was a right between them. Just saying.
An Ian Wright, that is.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the 3 that I have up front is Foden on the right, Watkins on the left, and I put Isak in the middle.
Okay.
I left Haaland out. I know he scored 27 goals, but 90% of the games he was playing, he was doing nothing. Like he was.
Do you know, I looked at a bunch of 11s going around on the 43 and various, or 42 or whatever is on various other sites and stuff like that and all. Loads of people have left Haaland out this season.
27 goals.
Like, goal return is unbelievable. Like, it's so hard to make that decision. Tedal's gone, Saliba, Gabriel, and Brantwaite, what a great season he had as well.
He looks like he could be on his way to United.
He'd be
I read that.
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Never getting involved in following the team. Ted, Foden, Rodri, Gordon, and Palmer. Great shout.
Gordon's been excellent. Yeah,
what a game.
100%.
Heavily linked with us as well, but I can't say
I think I left him out a little bit because he missed a lot of games as well. But he's been so influential for Newcastle.
Absolutely.
100%.
And Odegaard just had 2 strikers. Good.
He went 4-4-2.
He went
3-5-2.
3-5-2. Yeah. Ted likes doing that so he can crowbar in these extra players that he wants. I did it last season.
Watch as it's Hoyland and Anthony up front.
No, he went with Watkins and Haaland. Yeah,
Ooh.
Big up Dell. Commiserations, my friend.
Boy.
Absolute commiserations. I was pulling for you yesterday. I was hoping it would happen and stuff like that, but I know how you feel. Don't scratch your head about it, pal. It's a bollocks and it'll feel shit for a couple of weeks.
That's just what City do, isn't it?
It's just
100%.
what they do, and we kind of knew. I was driving back with Darren after the Crystal Palace game. I knew we were done then, and when I heard the Villa result, I said, "Lads, pack your bags. It's done. It's done."
Yeah.
That is big up, Del boy. Right, Mark, who did you go with up front?
So 3 up front. I've gone for Ollie Watkins.
Yeah,
I've gone for Solanke. I think he's been excellent performer.
Nice, good shout.
I was going to put Mateta in, right? But just you look at the last 10 to 12 games.
There wasn't longevity.
So I've actually gone for Isak up front as well. I think he's been excellent. Obviously, he's had his injuries and stuff like that. But I think, obviously, there was a lot of pressure on him with Wilson getting injured as well. But I think he really stepped up to the plate, and he's a natural goal scorer. And I think I said last week, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like an Arsenal went in for him, because that's the type of player that they need going into next season.
Do you remember last season before he went to Newcastle? I said it on here. I said I'd love United to go and get him just after he signed a new deal with Sociedad. And Dazzler was like, "No, he just signed a new deal." And fucking 2 weeks later, he goes to Newcastle. The cunt.
Yeah,
protecting the valuation.
But no, listen, I looked at Mateta. Do you know what I like about him? Do you ever see him? He wears his jersey tucked into the shorts like a proper old school centre forward. Do you know what I mean?
Mark, you can do that when you're built like a bodybuilder. This guy's a monster. You want to say this guy in real life? He's a monster, like, you know what I mean?
So listen, I had to give him a shout out, but going for Watkins.
I think if you look at that as well, though, it also plays a bit to the referee to show that he's being pulled if his jersey's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember years ago when you're playing with when I was playing with Wayside, whatever, the referees always said you have to have your jersey tucked inside your shorts. And if you were coming on, if one of the subs was coming on, they'd have to have it tucked in. But obviously he'd run onto the pitch, have it tucked in, and then when he gets onto the pitch, takes it out of his shorts and stuff like that, you know.
I was okay with that when they had the old big jerseys, the baggy ones. But once Spurs brought in and Roma brought in these cycling tops, I can't be tucking them into shorts. I can't be wearing them in the first place.
I remember they got the Italy one. Remember Euro 2000?
Who was the first to do it? Was it Roma or was it Spurs? Remember Spurs did it first.
Spurs had one. I think of the Italian national team because I had that blue jersey. And here's one for you because I remember going over to the Leisureplex in Stillorgan with it one time from Dundrum. And it was a roasting day, and I got to the Leisureplex and we were playing pool and I went like that, take a shot, fucking sweat all down the side of me. And you know, you're a teenager and all the girls are around, you're trying to show off. I was fucking embarrassed. Like
I had a guy working for me in Upright at the time, and he was a big Spurs fan. Chizzy was his name. Shout out to Chizzy for listening on the replay. And the big lad, he now drives the trains and stuff like that. But he was a big Spurs fan, but he was a welder, and he came in with that new Spurs jersey on that day, and it was like he was poured into it. And this was probably this lad was a big guy now. He was plus 20 stone, and he was getting poured into this thing. It was like, I don't know what it was like. It was like putting pill balls into a gas sock or something like that.
That was the season of Lasagna Gate, wasn't it? They had that jersey, the tight capper jersey with the navy trim on it.
Yeah, but it was once it went that road, it was gone. That's why I look at these, these player version jerseys and all, and unless you're in some Nick, unless you're in Mo Salah Nick, forget about it, guys.
Yeah,
forget about it. I buy them just to keep in the wardrobe now at this stage. Right, up front, lads. Mark, you gave me yours, did you? You did. Yeah. I went with Ollie Watkins and I went with Haaland. I included Haaland because I can't deny the volume of goals. I just can't deny
27 goals is just ridiculous.
Like, to score 27 goals and not be in most people's 11 is just, at a time where goals are the biggest commodity in the game.
Cole Palmer, didn't he get 22 goals this season or something like that?
22,
yeah. Well, see, I can't be a Darwin Núñez supporter and not put a guy who scored 27 or 29 goals in my 11 in the Premier League. I just can't.
I think also he didn't make mine because his all-round play has been genuinely poor in most games. Yes, he's scoring goals, but at City, they could create 50 chances for me to score, you know what I mean?
The funny enough as well, the interesting thing about it, most of his success is when he had that link-up play with Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah. And Kevin De Bruyne, because he was out injured so long this season as well, didn't make anyone's real 11. Yeah. So, if you don't have Kevin De Bruyne there, it's kind of interesting. But I suppose if you had Cole Palmer supplying them now, that's different gravy as well, isn't it? And Foden on the left as well.
Even then, though, even for that time, remember they played Alvarez there or they moved Foden in there. It just fucking worked. Fucking arseholes.
You know why that is? Because the three lads were tracking Haaland, so the boys were left alone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works. The decoy as they call it. Right, player of the season. Who did you go with?
Palmer.
Marky?
I have Palmer, but not for player. I have him for young player. I've gone for Rodri.
Yeah, I went with Rodri as well for player of the season. Yeah. It's a sickener that he's at City, but he's such a good player. Do you
remember his first season and a half at City? He wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just blooded in, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Do
you know what's happened? Do you know what's happened to Rodri as well? He's often been known as being this destroyer. But the amount of goals now and assists he's added to his game as well.
He scored the one in the Champions League final.
Play. Yeah, but his forward play now matches his defensive play. And, 1 minute he can be on the end of a ball in the box, and the next minute he's whipping a ball off a player running through in the other box. It's incredible to see.
He doesn't do anything at a lot of speed either.
No.
I was just calculated all the time. His reading of the game is exceptional as well.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, he's around great players as well. So if you're in a great team, it makes it easier. But he's the focal guy there, isn't he?
That's also the reason I went with Palmer. Like, Chelsea were a fucking shit show.
He was carrying them through it, wasn't he?
For the majority of the season. Yeah. And him nearly himself is after getting them sixth in European football.
Yeah, Ted's in. His all-round play was always shy. People left Haaland out because he has done it 2 seasons in a row now. It's standard for him. Any other player does that, and they are 100% in. Yeah, like I said it to Darren yesterday when I was talking to him or sporting. 27 goals for Haaland nearly feels like a bad season.
Yeah.
Nearly feels
And
by his
can I just
standards.
say as well, lads, for me centre halves, I was literally, instead of Gabriel, I was thinking Casemiro, but I just said I'd leave him out.
You were well advised. Right, young player of the season.
Palmer again.
You went for both, did you? You gave him both. Jeez.
Well, I mean, like I find it impossible if you win Player of the Year and you're in the Young Player of the Year, how you don't win both. Do you know what I mean? I think 22 goals and was it 9 or 10 assists, as it says, in a Chelsea team that struggled for 80% of the season.
I think Greg is trying to get on Ian Kelly's Christmas card list. What do you reckon, cuz?
Yeah, we'll see what happens when I get down here.
When the announcement came out with the 6 or 8 players or whatever, we had a good chat about it, Greg, didn't we, in the WhatsApp group? And lots of people were picking different things and stuff like that and all. But listen, you're splitting hairs on some of these guys. And I think, as Ted said there about Haaland and about Rodri and stuff like that, it's, winning the title might tip it over and stuff like that. I went for Foden, lads.
Yeah.
I just think as Young Player of the Year, I just think it's exceptional. And like, you can't deny. And the funny thing about City as well, coming off winning a treble last season into this season, they could have been forgiven for having, a drop off and being banjoed and stuff like that and all, as most teams are. But there you go, they're on the cusp of another league and cup double, so really, really impressive. Manager of the Year, guys, this is going to be interesting. Manager of the Year,
Emery.
Great show. Emery as well, yeah.
Emery
Clean
as well.
sweep. Clean sweep, there you go.
Emery
Clean
as
sweep.
well, yeah.
Hard to argue against him, isn't it? Back in the Champions League with Aston Villa. Great run, unlucky in Europe.
What was it, 15 unbeaten at home? Most wins in a league season. Finished top 4. Now they've got the Champions League. But they were playing attractive football as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was not this fucking lump the ball and hold on to it. They were winning games easily. Like, we robbed them blind. Completely robbed them blind in the 3-2 game.
And look at the state of the club when obviously Steven Gerrard left and he had to come in and pick up the pieces and what he's done. Like,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's done an excellent job there, and the players he's brought in, like your man Duran, looks something else. And
I'll tell you what about that man. He'll never score a goal like he did that second one against Liverpool.
Oh yeah, Jesus!
It was the most ridiculous goal ever. Oh, it is a clean sweep. Ted's in as well with Emery.
Ted's in with Emery as well. Yeah,
it'd
be hard to vote again. Look,
Pep's got to win it.
Yeah, it'd be easy to go Pep, and stuff.
And
like
lads,
that.
Did you agree with match of the day for a goal of the season?
I didn't see it. Was it Garnacho?
Garnacho's overhead against Everton. Yeah.
That was goal of the season, was it, from match of the day? Was
it? My cousin John put up on Facebook there yesterday. He's a West Ham fan. And he was like, Kudus' goal for goal of the season. I was like, did you see Garnacho's goal for Everton? I was like, no. It says that's a better overhead than Rooney's against City.
Yeah. It was like it was just slow motion, wasn't it? It was like he floated in air and it was like something out of a martial arts movie or something.
And like,
whereas
just the way it
Rooney's
goes
was such a snap, like.
Yeah, just the way it goes in as well.
Yeah.
That's a great show from Ted as well. Glasner for manager of the year if he had been in for the whole season. Yeah, well, who knows?
We'll see.
I still think Elise returning was a big one. Kudus should just get it so United get nothing.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You know he's a Liverpool fan, wouldn't you? Like, Jesus.
What'll he say now on Sunday if United win the FA Cup?
Absolutely. Flop of the season, lads. And let me don't just give me the name. Give me your thinking behind it as well, because I know there's loads of players that came in that just didn't play. So it's hard to know whether they were worst transfer or flop of the season, or maybe they can both be the same. I like to judge the flop of the season as being a player who played, who had huge expectation and didn't deliver. That would be my flop of the season. Like, so I don't regard like a Lavia as being a flop of the season because he didn't kick a ball. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have Lavia down, do you?
I put him down, but he's not my outright pick. I think the fact that he didn't play was.
Yeah, I have to tell people listening as well. We didn't let each other know what we were putting down here. Really.
And that goes for Mason Mount as well. The lad was injured for 27 games this season.
Also had him in there.
But like that's what I'm saying. He was injured for 27 games, and people call him a flop. When he was coming back from injury, he was coming off the bench and stuff like that. Wasn't really getting a sniff. Like you can hardly call him a flop. I mean,
What
people are saying
forfeit
about
have we got
55
from
million.
rounds in? I'll do
any
any
forfeit
forfeit if
United
United win.
You can donate me 50 quid and Mark 50 quid.
I'll think of something.
You have to rock up to that
saying,
New York. You have to rock up to that New York portal naked.
No, don't any walk down the road from that. No one needs to see that.
He's already been arrested for something like that at the Spire before, so I don't know if they'll let him do it again.
Sorry.
So yeah, with them, I had them in surely because the huge money that they came in for and the very little play time and whatnot. Calvin Phillips was second on my list because he was just atrocious.
Yeah.
The only reason he didn't get number one is because he's alone and he's fucking off back to City.
Greg, I had the same conversation with Niall just before you hopped on, didn't I?
Get a tattoo crest of United on your forehead. Good Lord, Jesus.
But I've had my number one was the same. I had the argument with Ian the other day in the group chat. Caicedo for me.
Marky, we were talking about that beforehand, and Marky was talking about that as well. And yeah, it was huge money, but yeah,
115 million. And I know he's played well the last 6 weeks or whatever. And Ian will say, "Oh, it's the last couple of months," but it wasn't up until May 6th. I went back to check the group chat. Ian agreed with me that he was the flop of the year. So I mean, Mason Mount,
and he's only missed one game all season, so he hasn't been injured or this, that, and the other. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, good shout, Kev. Calvin Phillips for me wasn't injured, so the reason he didn't play was because he was shite.
Every game he came in, he nearly crippled West Ham.
100%. Yeah,
she didn't even kick a ball hardly at City, did he, in the first half?
No. I think that the only reason he didn't get it was because the transfer fee was zero.
I think
Caicedo was dirt for 8 months of the season.
I think Scott Carson's got more minutes at Man City than bleeding Calvin Phillips has. That's saying something.
I mean,
well, was Calvin Phillips on the phone yesterday looking for his Premier League medal?
Calvin Phillips was looking for a new fucking agent.
Remember when they won last year the treble? Remember him running around with the trophies and the medals and all and celebrating? Never kicked the ball. I think what did he play 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup? Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And didn't even start with the Sue. He had the kid on right from the get-go. Yeah, 100%. It was mad to see him there going, why do you even hand him the trophy? Played like 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup.
Who's this lad?
Hitman deserves medals more than he does.
It's mad to think it's mad to think in years come. There's a great pub quiz question, isn't it? Calvin Phillips, you wouldn't even think about the stuff he's won.
Treble winner.
Played. Treble winner, Calvin Phillips.
Scott, that's your pointless questions, lads.
Yeah.
What about Jonathan Greening?
He'd probably get one or two because he was at United, but Scott Carson would get a zero. And so
Jonathan Greening probably played more football at United. And then he went on, didn't he leave and go to Middlesbrough? He did all right at Middlesbrough, didn't he? Went to Middlesbrough under Brian Robson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbo used to raid all the... Sure, Gary Pallister went there as well. He's signed him and everything.
Now, Ted's in with the question. Is flop of the season based on signing fee, though? If two players played to the same level, is it one a flop and one a success dependent based on the signing fee? See, when I look at the signing fees, I think of the worst transfer as opposed to the flop of the season. I like to judge the flop of the season purely based on football, what I see.
I get that, but if you're looking at if you want to go with that kind of way, right? Calvin Phillips hasn't played a lot of football since he left Leeds, right? So no one was expecting anything from him. He went on a loan deal to West Ham, and off he goes. Where Caicedo played at Brighton.
It's just
he was caught in mid-motion there. You probably have to come out and come back in.
Because well, he's just. Are you kind of relieved you didn't sign him in the end?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't want him at all, Mark. If you go back, if you go back actually, and you look at him at the time when West Ham took him on loan, the Hammers fans were going ballistic, absolutely going ballistic. Greg will come back in now in a second, so I'll just hold off on my two till Greg comes in. Check it. He's not playing football because he was so bad, though. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I said it at the time when Pep signed him from Leeds. I was going, "What are you doing? 50 million, like." Because, like, I know he was at Leeds. He was the Leeds boy, the talisman. He was the
Yeah.
figurehead. He was the figurehead at that documentary and all. And when Leeds were doing well and stuff like that and all. And remember, he was about to leave, and they gave him the new contract, and his family were delighted and all. But yeah, it just felt weird. I never rated him at that level at all.
Yeah, he's a kind of mid-table player, isn't he? I know it's harsh to
Yeah,
say or whatever, and
yeah,
you can look at it. Oh, he's won so many England caps. That's because Southgate favours players. He has
yeah.
his little go-to players that he uses and stuff like that. And which is great when in years to come when he's looking back at his career and he's looking at all the caps and all the medals he's won and stuff like that. But no, yeah, for me, he's one of those players that's a mid-table team.
Yeah, I think being in and around the England squad as well helped him greatly. Because he used to get a bit of game time there as well, So
Definitely.
which
Well,
was kind of
he
strange
knew he
as
wasn't
well.
getting any with City, and even if he was coming on, he was playing bad. He knew he was going to get called up to England, and he'd get game time under Southgate.
Yeah, I think Greg's just trying to come back in here at the moment, so I'll give him a second, see if it comes up. Cachado wasn't great, Ted. Cachado wasn't great for most of the season, but he was playing every week. Yeah, and you have to take into account as well. He was in such a like Chelsea for that first 6-7 months of the season were just twisted up and twisted out, and it was kind of weird, to see. And it's only when they kind of got a foothold that it made a difference. Alan is in from Facebook. Big up, Alan. Well, man, how's things? Great show. You even have Elvis on. We do have Elvis on. Baby Elvis is in the house.
Is that a
Baby
certain Alan
Elvis.
Murphy from Port Leash that I'm seeing there?
Could
Can't see
be.
that picture.
Could be. It's a
All right,
group
Al,
shot. It's a
or
group
should I say
shot.
Johnny Hartson?
There you go.
But like I said, the Mount one now, I think I've heard a few people saying it, but like I said, I think he's missed 27 games through injuries. He had two really bad injuries and stuff like that, and he found it hard to get into the team then, and he wasn't playing. I'm starting to see a trend in the chat tonight. He wasn't
End of
playing.
season blues.
All
End
right,
of season blues. There you go.
He wasn't playing in the position that he kind of favoured, so I think it was tough on him. Oh,
Greg, you might need to reset. Oh, there he is. He's back.
hey.
I don't know what happened there, lads. I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
The signal down on Bray.
This could be a combination. It could be your Wi-Fi. It could be your hardware on StreamYard. Do you use StreamYard or do you still use Zoom for your shows?
Well, I'm on StreamYard now.
Yeah.
So I think the Wi-Fi must have dropped. Sorry, I was saying there with Ted's comment with Caicedo and Phillips. Caicedo was brought in with a big expectation, having had a great season at Brighton, and brought in for big money, and underperformed for 90% of the season. That's why he got it for me.
Greg, do you put that on him or do you put that on the whole debacle that was Chelsea in that first 6 months of the season?
Both, but you could still perform well in a bad team. Look at Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer, yeah. So,
exactly,
yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, you still have to be held accountable for your own performances, whatever about the team around you. Yeah. Like, look at United. Like, Casemiro was dreadful since he went to centre-half. Do you know what I mean? And you can say, oh, well, the team are poor, but he was playing badly. He was making mistakes.
Would you expect?
You look at that Kobe Mainu was outstanding in a poor team as well. So
yeah. Would you expect him to bounce back next season and show part
100%.
of that 115 million? Yeah,
100%. I expect him to get back to Brighton, but I think at Brighton there was less heads. That's supposed to say egg shearing, not Ed Sheeran.
Egg shearing, yeah.
I think he will bounce back. I think he's a good player overall, but for him, he's the flop of season for me.
Yeah. Mark, did you give me yours?
I've the same as Greg, 100%. Yeah. I said to you before I came on, and I chatted about Phillips as well and stuff. Listen, you could pick half of the United team. You could say a certain Marcus Rashford. You could say Anthony, this, that, and the other as well. So there's plenty of names out there.
Now. And I didn't show Mark either. Lads, I went for, and it's not out of anything to do with rivalry or United or anything like that. I went for Marcus Rashford, and even as a Liverpool fan, as a neutral fan at times as well, he has been so disappointing, and he should be that guy. He should be that guy in the dressing room who's Man United DNA through and through, who pulls these guys aside, who lifts that level and lifts that standard. And so many times this season, he just shirked and shied away from his responsibility, and the petulance of him as well at times as well. And we know there's such a brilliant footballer in there, and that's what makes it worse. We know on any given day he can show up and be absolutely world class, the same as anyone on the planet. And yet, yeah, well, and you're a United fan on here along with Mark, and Mark has spoke about him all season as well. His frustration with him as well has been absolutely shocking.
But even in the group chat for the last couple of years, even when he was scoring all the goals, I still said I hated him. I can't stand him. He's a petulant cunt, and he should be fucked out of the club.
He's one of these players, that he burst onto the scene and everything just fell into his lap. And I think he kind of he grew a bit too big for his boots then. And obviously, what happened to was one of his best mates, Sancho. He started sulking when Sancho got sent back to Dortmund.
First it was fucking Jesse Lingard and Pogba when they got mistreated by the club. He started to sulk then, and then he kicked on after the World Cup, and then it was Sancho, and now he's back doing the same thing. It's like, poor me, my friends are being bullied here. Fuck off.
And it doesn't help, Greg. Remember, halfway during the season, he was caught on a night out in Belfast. He was over visiting a local team, and he was caught then with some young one and some back from some nightclub or something, whatever it was. But he's not doing himself any favours,
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Rashford. He's been very poor this season, living off what he did last season. Remember last season as well, he dropped off from February onwards.
Yeah.
If he wasn't English, he wouldn't have been bigged up to the heights he has been. Yeah, and
it's 100%, Alan, 100%.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't English, even if he came through the United Academy, he wouldn't be at the club anymore.
Yeah.
I'd take money for him during the summer.
I
guess
there's a certain thing there, isn't there, where when you bring a boy through from the young ages there and stuff, and his background story, lads, and stuff like that. The club wants to give him every opportunity to succeed and stuff like that, because it's a great story if it was to happen. And at a time in the game where there isn't a huge amount of romance left in it, really, when you think about it, these are the things that we kind of cling on to. And if you're a young kid in Manchester, a young Mancunian out there playing football at the moment, park the City situation, but if you're a Red on that side of the city, he's the guy you look up to. He's the guy who should be the inspiration out there. I know he's been an inspiration for all this other stuff outside of football that he does, which maybe that became too much for him as well, as something that he had to carry as well at times. And I just think if you're a young kid there kicking ball in the street, and many of those kids don't have Rashford on the back of their jersey, you know what I mean? And it's just, he should understand the weight that carries at Man United, being there nearly all his life. And it's just time after time after time again. You guys just are looking at a Garnacho. You are looking at for Garnacho to be the guy there and Rashford to sit in the background sulking, and Kobe Mainoo coming through and these players and stuff like that, and he's sitting there sulking with the hood up. You know what I mean? With no desire at all to get up off his backside.
It's that feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
You can
see the fight with the fans on all
day.
Well, in fairness, there's only so much time the club can give him, and you think, right, you're going to have to go, because the longer he's there, there's younger players coming up through the ranks going that are putting everything in training and not getting an opportunity because Marcus Rashford's starting ahead of them. They're going to get a pain in their ass and say, here, listen, lads, I'm going elsewhere. I'm going elsewhere to get game time.
They were after seeing it with United there with Anthony. They finally dropped him and started playing Diallo the last couple of weeks, and he's already done more this season than Ando has.
Does Rashford start in the cup final?
No,
not for me.
Will he start in the cup final?
Probably will, but he shouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
They'll probably play him to try and stretch City, but sure, the fucking cunt doesn't run.
Yeah, no, it's just.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna need a lot of people pressing on the City team, because they're gonna have a lot of the ball on Saturday.
Bad.
Finger young one.
We've all been there, Ted.
Is there not enough of that hassle that was going on at the club? Without him adding to that. Can't remember which interview it was or if it was in a book, but I remember Roy Keane said that any time he was benched, he always sat there feeling he could change the game. Rashford sits there sulking.
I remember it was
Darren,
at a United Portsmouth game. Roy Keane was on the bench. First time I ever seen him on the bench. He came
Darren
on
was
scored.
telling me a little spoiler from the City treble documentary. When Kyle Walker was dropped for the Champions League final, I think it was, he was the one who gave the team talk in the dressing room before the boys went out.
That must have been a
Yes,
real.
that says
That
a
must
lot.
have been a real kick in the face for Walker, though.
But there's the mentality, Greg.
Yeah.
He's the guy who stood in the middle of the dressing room and gave the team talk and told those boys the effort he had put in to get everyone there and to go out there and make it happen. Isn't that a different mentality? Now, he could have sat there with his thumb in his mouth and said, fuck yes.
Or he could have went home to his two
Milan
families.
blind.
Yeah. Alan saying, totally agree. He should be the figurehead at the club. As a guy from Manchester, he should be leading by example. Should be Garnacho and Ahmad starting in the final.
100% should be the
Definitely,
two.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Be interesting. And you know something,
Or-
it'll be shot. If they don't, it'll be terrible.
Or what they will do is they might play Anthony because he does a lot of tracking back.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
I'd like to see Garnacho and Ahmed.
Yeah,
Obviously.
well, I mean,
Right.
the two of them are so direct.
Right, lads. Worst transfer of the season.
Caicedo.
Okay. So you have him in there for the flop and the transfer.
Well, I mean, you can't go one without the other.
I went different. I think I'm the same as you, Noel, don't I?
Well,
I think-
I changed it. I didn't want them to be the same. So for me, the
I'm
flop
the
of the
same.
season was the one who didn't perform. The worst transfer was the one who just, came in with expectation and just didn't happen. Who have you got, Marky?
I went with Tonali.
Same. I went with Tonali.
I forgot that man was even a player.
Do you remember the day he signed and how pissed off he was? He was literally in tears leaving Milan that they had crowbarred him out the door. And still to this day, if anyone tries to tell me that they didn't know about these charges and this guy in tears leaving Milan and Milan pushing him out the door like this.
See, I took it from obviously flop is if you flop if you do bad on the pitch and bloody bad, but for transfer I was trying to think of something different, and obviously it was just a bad transfer in general,
Yeah, and just and the fact that he kind of came back and then it happened again. You know what I mean? And it's just,
I feel sorry for Newcastle in a way that they spent 50 million quid on this player off AC Milan. If I was them, I'd be looking at going to the court of arbitration or something, being like, give me my money back, because there's no way you didn't know this was coming.
Yeah, Rowan Anthony should track back to Brazil. He probably wouldn't.
He should.
You're not wrong. Yeah. You're not wrong.
I think Diallo will be brought on with the hope there is tired legs.
That City team don't get tired.
Don't get tired. And when they do get tired, they have a world-class 11 watching on the bench. Caicedo for worst transfer for me. Based on probably, is it based on the size of the fee, I suppose? Yeah, the fee was massive.
The fee and the performances, apart from the last month and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
His performances were dreadful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so hard to judge Chelsea this season because the whole thing was a shit show up till 2 months ago or whatever, So it's just be interesting to see.
United were a shit show for the whole season.
Yeah, Chelsea got caught in a silly bidding war and panicked to spend as much as they did.
I'm not entirely sure he did get thing, because originally he wanted to go to Chelsea and then Liverpool came in looking for him.
Yeah, and he turned around and he said because he had made an agreement with Chelsea, he would stand by it.
Yeah,
that's why he didn't go.
I don't think it was a bidding war, to be honest, at all. It was the price was the price.
Do you reckon Caicedo, if he had come to Liverpool with McAllister there, would have been very different under Klopp?
Under Klopp,
yeah.
Under Klopp would have been different, wouldn't it? And McAllister there as well. So
I think the free way that Liverpool three play in the midfield probably would have benefited him a lot more than being isolated because Enzo's off doing fucking God knows what.
He was in Greystones today.
So I heard.
He was, yeah.
Enzo. Yeah, he was in Grey. I didn't see him now. We were stuck here all day with the dogs. But
and lads, I know we haven't done it, but one of the signings of the season for me is a bit of a mad one. If we were doing it, I think Ross Barkley signing for Luton. That was a masterstroke by them. Rob Edwards, him in. I thought a fantastic season.
Apparently on his way to Villa, Mark.
I've seen that, today,
Way to Villa. Yeah. Be a stretch though, wouldn't it?
I think I think for me, signing the season was right.
No,
Right.
yeah. Like you look at these, but I'm just saying from a lower team point of view
Oh,
to get him
100%,
in
yeah,
and the
pre-transfer.
experience that he brought there and what he done, and I felt sorry for Luton this season getting relegated, but now Rice be well up there, man. Has to be.
Rice definitely up there. I think there's a shout for McAllister as well, and not because I'm a Liverpool fan. I think McAllister was unbelievable this season. Jumped into the six when he had to.
Szoboszlai quicker than have McAllister.
Stop. That's a hot take. I'm clipping that, Greg. I'm clipping that. You'd have Dominic Szoboszlai over I was going to say Gary McAllister. Alexis McAllister.
I just wanted to see what you'd say.
No, I can't even clip that now. That can't be serious now. No, I just think McAllister, because he was fucked around so much this season. He was brought in as a grade of 8 and dumped into a 6 and stuff like that. No,
but is it just me? Doesn't it feel like he's there longer? It's mad to think he's only there seasonally.
Yeah. It's
but what was it, 35 million?
Yeah,
35 million, yeah. So
What
when you think about that compared to Rice's 105, and it's, so unbelievable.
I mean, he's finished one place behind them and 8 points behind them or whatever.
Yeah. And we also won a trophy this season and they didn't. Just putting that out there.
So this got asked in one of our other group chats. If United win the FA Cup this week, right? Yeah. Have they had a better season than Arsenal? And the lads were like, I'd take a trophy any day. And I was like, no, lads, Arsenal finished second. I said, whatever about winning a trophy, it's not a better season than Arsenal.
I don't know. The measure of it is trophies, isn't it? We can only win 4.
We finished 8. Didn't even get European football. I know we'll get European football if we win the FA Cup. But no, there's no way you can say someone that finished second than winning an FA Cup and finishing 8th. Lucky that we didn't finish fucking 10th because we won.
Okay, but if you're looking at it this way, right? Yous are not structured at the moment to do anything in Europe, realistically.
No, I understand.
And the likelihood of Arsenal winning the Champions League next year is pretty slim, depending on what signings they bring and stuff like that. But they haven't been there, so they haven't done it. So in actual fact, sometimes you look at this and you wonder, is it a crutch that you have to bear by being there? But I think there's definitely trophies for me is always the gauge. Has to be the gauge. Like if you go and you beat City in the FA Cup final, now I know you'll get a Europa League spot or whatever it is, and you're not at the top tier of European football. But to go and beat City in an FA Cup final and stop them doing a double on the back of a treble season, that's huge. That's massive.
I understand it's a massive. It'll be a massive win, but you cannot turn around and say the season was better because you won the FA Cup. But just say Burnley win the FA Cup on Saturday, right? If they were in it against City, they got relegated. Does that make it a better season?
Well, it happened to Wigan, didn't it? Remember a few years ago they won the FA Cup on a Saturday and got relegated on a Wednesday.
Was it? No, it wasn't the same season, was it?
Yeah.
Was it not the season later?
No, they got the same season. They won the FA Cup.
Same season, yeah. Same season.
I backed City. Or I backed Wigan that day at 12-1.
Watson with the header.
Yeah.
I don't know, Marky, how do you feel about it?
Like, it's
especially
one of those.
Then United, the measure has to be trophies.
Yeah, listen.
I know the transition that United's gone through since Fergie went and all the managers, all this and all that and stuff like that. But United have to be measured. Like last year, if you think about last year, you got back into the Champions League, you won a Carabao Cup. I think those things like that Carabao Cup, I think a lot of that saved Ten Hag. Now I know you did well in the league and you got up, but you were third or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the measure has to be trophies every season. That's where the standard has to be.
I do always say when you go into the Liverpool training complex, they have the Wall of Honor, and it has all the trophies there. Who's won, like what you've won. You don't have second place, 91 points. You have an FA Cup, you have a Carabao, you have a. That's the way I think, anyway. But listen, it's one of those. I don't think anyone's wrong necessarily. You know, that type of way.
Well, you look at the biggest thing that Arsenal fans say at the moment. They always turn around. They give out shit about Arteta binning off the domestic cups all the time.
Yeah. What has he won? The FA Cup? Did he won one FA Cup, hasn't he?
That's in his first season with Emery's squad.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I would say it would be a better season if we finished top 4 and
Champions League.
Yeah, but for us to finish 8th, you cannot turn around and say it's a better season, whether you have a trophy or not.
But there's like a lot of it that you think about as well. Okay, you want to be in the European spots and stuff like that. But is the magnitude of that so great as opposed to winning and especially I suppose I'm leaning more towards an FA Cup as opposed to a Carabao Cup because of the history and the
Yeah.
lineage and all that kind of stuff. But for you guys to go out next weekend and beat City in an FA Cup final with the season that you have had and the turmoil and everything else going on and the injuries and everything else, and you look at City who have been flying high, back of a treble season, into a league win, 4 in a row, looking at a double. For me, that's huge. That's
Uh,
huge.
And you
It
look
is,
at
but
it like from a point of view, am I jealous of Arsenal fans this season finishing second and qualified from Champions League? Too right, I am. Would they be jealous of us? Probably not. So from that point of view, you'd say Arsenal have had the better season.
Yeah, I don't know. I reckon there's Arsenal fans maybe in the chat or online at the moment that might look at this and I tell you they take your hand off for an FA Cup. Take your hand off for an FA Cup. Haven't had a trophy in nearly 5 years or whatever it
but
is.
in that though, right? You asked them, do they want an FA Cup and finish 8th? Haven't finished second last year.
Well, what's the likelihood they're going to do in the Champions League anyway, Greg?
No,
They'll
but
get pinned out of it again, probably.
They had every chance this year. They should have beaten Bayern this year.
Yeah, but should have and doing it
I know
two
what
very
it is.
different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, if you asked an Arsenal fan, would they swap with United now to win an FA Cup and finish 8th? I guarantee you there's not many of them that'll say yes at all.
Stop sitting on the fence, Mark. Winning the FA Cup papers over all the cracks at United, and I'm a United fan. I don't think we're looking at papering over the cracks here. It's quite visible what the situation is there. And funny enough, you say that, Alan. So if you did go out next weekend and beat City and win the FA Cup, that makes it even more remarkable when you think about it because of the disarray that's there,
And listen, from what I'm told, he'll be there next season as well. So
yeah, City
coming in. Where have you been all night coming in late like that with a foot?
Mark, all season he's been dropping these hot takes on United, doesn't he?
If it's not that, it's Murray Street or something he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So preview on Thursday for the FA Cup final, lads. Any predictions yet?
I don't know.
Could you see a situation where United do it?
Do you know what? I was one of the only few people last year that actually thought that United might win it. And we went out and gave City a game for it.
Yeah.
I envisaged something similar to the same. I don't think we're going to be 1-0 down in 37 seconds this year.
Shh, don't preempt it, Greg. Don't say things like that. That's what
happens. No, I'm going to say it because then I might get one of the lads to throw a bet on.
Very good.
But no, do you know what I mean? I don't see us being 1-0 down and chasing the game, and you can't chase a game against City, really. I know we went 1-1 at half time, but I don't think we'll be chasing the game for 90 minutes.
I said it. I was talking to Arsenal fans yesterday, and I said, and some of it's out of naivety as well, and maybe just being worn out from chasing the City team down for the last number of years. I said, eventually on a final day, they have to fucking fuck up, don't they? Something has to go wrong. And it just seems that it doesn't happen. But surely it has to happen at some stage.
I mean, the Villa one last year really looked like, didn't it? When they were 2-0 down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was it going the one at the back post with the third goal?
Top in.
I think it was De Bruyne that set that one up, didn't it? Yeah.
De Bruyne set all three of them up, didn't he?
Yeah. I just hope to God, like Greg said, go out, don't concede early, make it difficult for them like we did at the Etihad. Remember, we went and Rashford scored that cracker from about 20 yards in the Etihad this season and stuff like that. And just listen, try to nick something and make it interesting. And like if we can go out and play the way we have at the top of our season this season, we can make a game of it. If we go out and play the way we have against certain lower teams this season and be so open at the back, forget about it, they'll annihilate us. But I have a sneaky feeling we can actually do it. And obviously
I'm going for day points anyway, lads. So
yeah, big up Kenny. Kenny's in, Arsenal fan who's always in with us and all. Kenny, commiserations on yesterday, but everyone kind of knew what was going to happen, didn't they? I wouldn't take United's situation. FA Cup or not over Arsenal season, bigger picture is trying to chase down City. Chasing down City is always the goal. That's not going to go away, and that's always going to be the case. But just the thoughts of, imagine the thoughts, Kenny, next Saturday, I think. It's Saturday for the FA Cup, isn't it?
Saturday,
yeah. Imagine next Saturday, Kenny, FA Cup, and it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and Odegaard and the boys are walking up the steps to lift the trophy in front of Pep. Just let that set in. You know what I mean? Like I think the domestic cups at times are just not. They're not taken serious enough, and maybe it's because they don't carry the weight of prize at the back end and stuff like that. Maybe if an FA Cup carried the Champions League spot, or maybe if a Carabao Cup carried a certain spot and stuff like that, maybe it would be different, stuff like that and all. But I'd love to. I said to you at the top of the show, lads, I'd love to be in a cup final next Saturday and against City. I would lap that up. I would love that.
I'll tell you what, lads. If United win the FA Cup at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is next on Saturday, you'll see me. I'll do a replica with my pint of Guinness as they're lifting the FA Cup for you, right?
I'll do one better, Greg. I'll actually be in my sitting room lifting the actual FA Cup. I'll have your trophy here.
Yeah, Alan, it's a tough one. Obviously, love to win a trophy, but think Ten Hag needs to go. If we win, there's more chance he stays. I agree with Greg. Arsenal wouldn't swap our season for theirs, even if we win the cup.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen United managers sacked for winning the FA Cup. Obviously, Van Gaal was sacked
in the tunnel, basically.
Yeah, but we know the background to a lot of that stuff as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand that as well.
Craziness.
But I don't think, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes in on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? Win or lose.
Yeah.
I think this season has been horrendous.
Yeah. You would imagine that decision is already in motion, wouldn't you? Either staying or going.
Yeah.
Regardless of Sunday.
I think Ineos will not take much more shit. You know what
I mean? Did you send that pin to Jack Niall? I did that. I sent it to him the other day there. Sent it on to him. Ace, it's going to be interesting if roof open or closed. Sure, rain. Must be rain forecast, is it? Championship playoffs on Sunday afternoon as well. Really looking forward to Leeds and Southampton.
Police in London are worried about. Obviously, all the Leeds fans and the United fans in London on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be big trouble.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. You'll be crying whilst watching King of the Ring after United humiliation.
Nope, I'll be drinking pints.
Southgate or Potter incoming.
Aces. Come on, man.
That's all right. Liverpool got their manager as it is. They don't need them.
Yeah. We've got our Dutch version now, man. Yeah. This will be a real acid test. Wanted to see if the Eredivisie really is what people used to think it was. You know, because this guy's after doing a league and cup double with Feyenoord. So if that isn't an advertising to come in, I know obviously going to Liverpool is a massive step up and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting to see now, you know, our view on the Dutch league as next season progresses and stuff like that.
Junk.
Maybe. You could be right. Could be sitting here this time next season going, oh my God, what have we done? Maybe we'll be in 8th and we'll be in an FA Cup final or something like that.
Should have got Amaron.
Jesus. Apparently, you know, lots of stuff coming out on that as well, that Sporting tried to double the compensation fee from 10 million to 20 million after it was agreed and all. And apparently another report came out today saying actually they compared him to Slot and they decided to go with Slot instead of Amaron because Slot's data stacked up better. Apparently. Now, I don't know.
Well, it didn't help that your man Amaron tried to fucking
twist that old arm.
Yeah, I went to talk to West Ham. You're a fucking idiot, then, aren't you? Playing the poker hand and getting rinsed.
Yeah, that was an expensive flight, wasn't it? Ten Hag immediately returned to the red light district on Saturday night with Anthony.
Good, you can take him.
What do you think of Allegri maybe coming in? Some talk of him now.
I said that in one of the other group chats the other day. I heard he left Juventus last Friday, and I was like, "There's a name you could probably get behind."
Did you see the whole story about why he left?
No, I only heard it during the match.
Did you not hear what he was saying and all? He wanted to go up to one of the directors and all. He told me to rip his ears off his head and everything and all. Like, he went on a mad one, like. He went on a proper meltdown, mad one. Like
he's had a rough time of it at Juventus as well. They sacked him, brought him back, and everything.
I'm back, yeah. Yeah, I seen him linked with us on Sunday there in the or yesterday in the paper or on one of the. I think it was the Mail on Sunday or something like that they had.
He looks like Mike Bennett. He does a bit actually look like Mike Bennett. That's not a bad show actually.
Who the
I
hell?
don't know whether Ian
sure
might appreciate that as well. He's married to Maria Canelis as well, so yeah, not a bad show.
He might tear mine and your ears off now after the picking Caicedo.
That's you and Mark, not me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Me and Mark.
Yeah. No doubt he'll drop a comment. Maybe watch the show on the way home. Haha, didn't hear that. Maybe need a mad fucker in there to sort some shit out. Yeah, apparently he dropped a proper grenade there last week and had a meltdown, and he was threatening to go. He was threatening to go to lads' houses and everything and all.
If he'd done that to the Glazers, I would not stop him.
We'd want to pay for his flight, yeah.
Yeah, I too. Right.
Looking at the Glazer boys, it wouldn't take much to rip their ears off now, would it? They look like plasticine as it is. Ten Hag has agreed an Ajax return.
Hey, says, come on now.
Did Ajax not just appoint a manager now?
Didn't he agree a deal to go to Bayern as well 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. You are all saying Alvain is going, oh, thank God, and then it keeps on retracting. Right, lads, great show as always. Great to have you on as well. I'd like to have you on more often, but great to have you on.
Been a while.
It's fun. Yeah, it's nice to talk about football, isn't it, instead of horror? I say it all the time. I love doing the wrestling shows because it gives me a little bit of a break from the football as well. So it's always fun.
I love an hour football chat. It's a lot easier now with working Monday to Friday, so you might get me a bit more next season.
There you go. Hopefully, yeah, because we don't want you just coming back for the end of season Slammy Awards, basically. You know?
It's always good, though, to come in and wind people up and I'll leave.
Yeah, drop that grenade and go. Drop that grenade and go.
How's the channel going, Greg? Anyway, good?
Yeah, it's keeping busy, yeah. A lot of good guests upcoming. So if anyone's interested, we're over there on YouTube on the Slab Horror. You'll find us there. Or if you want to check out our other show, Retrotainment Recast, you'll find us there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Ted doing the business over there with yourself as well. And is Carl still on with you on the Slab?
Carl Sherlock or Carl King, yeah.
Yeah,
King
big
is,
up
yeah.
Carl as well. Big shout out to Carl.
Carl's a good lad. Carl does all the editing, so he's a top man, that lad.
Well, if he's doing all the editing, he's a top man anyway, isn't he? Yeah.
I don't like that show. Edited, gone.
Yeah. Talk again, man. Mark. Alex playing up in Abbottstown on Sunday with Athlone on the 14th national tournament. Nice.
Class.
Big up, Alan. Love that. Right, folks, if you can, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like in the video. We will have other shows coming up and stuff like that, and keep an eye out there because we won't be just drifting away because of the summer. The Euros will be entertaining us for our sins, and we might even delve into a little bit of Copa America as well. Let's say, seeing as we've a few.
Do I have to start watching wrestling now? Do I, cuz?
That wouldn't be a bad shout either. Might
be more entertaining than watching us this year.
Greg has become a real huge wrestling fan as of late. He's back in that circle again. He's pumping wrestling gear onto the WhatsApp group and everything. All the
Greg.
Now.
Yeah, the young fella likes it, so I'm back watching it. We're allowing him to watch it again.
That's nice, isn't it? It's nice to have that with the kid as well.
It's funny because he loves Jey Uso now.
Yeah. Mark, I meant to say to you as well, Neil Lennon's after picking up a job today, I think.
So
he's out of the run for the Ireland one.
I didn't want him anyway. Didn't want him anywhere near that Ireland job. Yeah, John O'Shea's obviously in charge next week, so we'll see what happens.
Cody Raheem Rhodes. Great pod. We are now over and out. We are, folks. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button. Make sure you're following Marky Hogan Elite Trophy here on Instagram and Facebook for all your trophy needs for your event. And Greg on the Slab, and any of the other ones in there. Ted is in there, Retrotainment, Recast, and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers, lads.
Peace.
Cheers.